Hey, we're back, and today we're going to be talking pools. Pool installation tips for summer staycations. Did I get that right, Rich? Staycations?
Yeah.
Staycations. And we've got Rick Black from Latham Pool Products, and we'll be back right after this to talk a little bit more about pools.
Here I come to save the day.
Welcome to Mighty House. This is a radio show for people with problems, home improvement problems, that is, and for people who want common sense guidance on how to build green and live a more sustainable lifestyle. Send an email or call into the show. The Mighty House crew is on the job. This is Mighty House.
All right, cool. Hey, Rick, we're going to talk pools today, but we want to talk a little bit about all kinds of pools. And somebody that's thinking, you know what, I want a big bucket of water in my backyard. How do I start? Where do I go to do that? So go ahead and give us a kind of rundown, maybe some of the differences between if you just wanted an in-ground
Different
pool
types
versus
of pools.
above ground and things like that. Give us kind of overview of all those different options if you could.
Yeah, well, so as Rich just said, there's above ground pools. Those are your least expensive pools. You can have a blast in them. You know, it doesn't really matter whether the water's above the ground or in the ground as far as how much fun you can have in the pool, but that's your least expensive place to start. And then when you start going into the in-ground options, the oldest type of pool is the concrete pools, which is what most of us swam in when we were kids, public pools and that kind of thing, Olympic-sized pools. And then in the 1950s, vinyl liner pools were introduced. Another term that you hear sometimes for vinyl liner pools are package pools, because they were delivered on a pallet, so it came in a package. And then actually in the 50s, fiberglass pools were introduced, but it was not very well known. It took many years for them to really take on any sort of market penetration, and really not until the late 90s, early 2000s did fiberglass really take traction.
Those are the ones you see sitting by the freeway. They're just big things sitting next to the freeway, right?
Right.
That's exactly right. Just a big, huge, if you want to call it a big, huge bathtub.
Excellent. Okay. So, those didn't catch on. Why didn't those catch on? They're hard to move around, or they're hard to get to the job site?
Well, they are a little bit difficult to move around and harder to get to the job site in some sense. But ultimately, there needed to be an evolution in some of the materials themselves, some technology in the resins, and just a overall development, and there really hadn't been too much new technology as far as the materials go, say in the last 10 or 15 years. The resins and everything that are used to make fiberglass pools are extremely advanced. Same type of resins you use to make multi-million-dollar yachts.
Right.
It's really been more of a homeowner's acceptance of the product. You know, it's the new kid on the block, and so just like with any technology, you have the early adopters, and then it just takes a while for there to be enough social proof and trust in the product. And so just to give you an example, I got in the pool business back in the early 90s, and fiberglass pools made up about 0.75% to 1% of the market.
Wow.
And dominated by concrete pools.
Yeah.
And so here we are roughly 30 years later, and fiberglass pools make up roughly 20% of the market. So it's on a steep curve.
Well, when it comes to a liner or package pool and a fiberglass pool, can you design your own pool or customize them? I mean, I think, we do predominantly concrete pools where I'm at, and, we just form them and shoot them and then go back and Pebblecrete them or Pebble Tech and then tile. But as a fiberglass pool, can it be modified or can it be customized to whatever you want?
Well, so to your point, concrete pools have the ultimate in terms of customization. Vinyl liner pools are second in that rank, and you can do pretty much anything with a vinyl liner pool shape-wise that you can do with a concrete pool. And then the answer to the question is, in terms of the shape and where the steps are and all those kind of things, currently the fiberglass pool is built on a mold, just like a boat is built on a mold. So those things are set. There are some things you can do regarding customization as far as adding a tan ledge or a spa next to the pool body itself. You can put that same tile that you would put on a concrete pool on a fiberglass pool, so you have customization there. inlaid mosaics, obviously lots of different colors. You mentioned Pebble Tech. We've got some colors that kind of replicate the Pebble Tech. So
I didn't realize you could tile a fiberglass pool at all. I didn't even realize that was an option. No, that's how I envision them. It's just, like you said, a big fiberglass bathtub. You dig a hole, drop it in.
And then what about durability versus all these different options? What's gonna have the best durability, serviceability, last the longest, or are they all gonna last about the same?
Great question. And depends on kind of what facet of last forever that you're looking for. So, as Rich mentioned, the concrete pool, if you got your rebar and your concrete and you have your finish, and if it's all built right, it's going to last a long, long time. Mm-hmm. The certainty is at some point you're going to have to resurface the finish. Mm-hmm. And so depending on which surface you choose for your concrete pool, there are some longer lasting surfaces than other. Again, Pebble Tech was mentioned. That's a really robust, great looking finish. One of the things with the concrete pool is that you do have an interactive surface there, meaning that the water is interacting with the surface. And so you have a little bit more responsibility with the water chemistry. Typically, you're using a little higher levels of chlorine than you are with the other types of pools. And then with the vinyl liner pool, generally speaking, you're going to change the liner out every 7 to 12 years, depending on how well you treat your water and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then with the fiberglass pool, what you gain by accepting limited size and shapes, because keep in mind, you've got somewhere, depending on how you define all the different options, 50 to 100 options, free forms, rectangles, and all that. But you never resurface the pool. And so you have less chemicals in the water, so you have less monthly cost, annual cost, and you never have that looming long-term cost of having to resurface it or replace mm-hmm. the liner.
Excellent. Okay. Go ahead, Rich.
Well, just you're talking about chemicals and chlorine and all that, and so using like everything nowadays, it seems like everybody's going to salt generators or salt pools. Yeah. And does that now reduce? It's still chlorine, right? It's an electrolysis process. It takes it from sodium chloride to chlorine, and so it's still chlorine in the pool, is it not?
Yeah. Again, you're spot on, and it is a confusing thing out there because lots of people think that it's a chlorine alternative because they have, the salt pool. But basically all you're doing is changing the methodology by which you're introducing chlorine into the water. You can either manufacture it with a salt chlorine generator, or you can buy tablets and introduce it through automatic chlorinators or whatever. And so, either way, it's upon the customer to make sure they monitor that right. And so, I guess one of the analogies that I use, I don't know whether you'll think it's a good analogy or not, but somebody will say, well, do you think a salt chlorine generator is a good way to go? And to me, it's kind of like, well, do you think cruise control is a good way to drive? And the answer is yes, unless I leave my cruise control on 70 and then I get off the exit ramp and go through a couple of neighborhoods. And so what happens with salt chlorine generators is people set it and forget it. And then mm-hmm. generally speaking, their chlorine levels will become elevated and their pH levels will become elevated. And that creates a kind of a corrosive environment, not only for the pool surfaces itself, but everything to do with the plumbing system. Mm-hmm. You got to remember now your family swimming. So, it's not necessarily as one good, one better. It's just a matter of what's right for you. And then as a homeowner, just like with your car, you have certain responsibilities to
sure.
take.
Right. So, is there a different pumping system, filtration system, whether you're using the chlorine or the salt, or is that mechanical system going to be the same?
Yeah, the mechanical system is going to be exactly the same. You're just going to have an electrode in the circulation system that the sodium chloride is going to pass by and create the sodium hypochlorite for the chlorine and the sodium hydroxide. So you don't do anything different with the circulation system. You just simply put the electrode in line.
Okay. And what about filtration? I think, what is it? There's sand, and then you've got the big cartridge thing that's looks like an air filter kind of thing. Is one better than the other? Is there one way to go that that you kind of try to steer your clients?
Well, so in Florida, there's diatomaceous earth as well. And so as you said, you've got the cartridge filter, the sand filter, the diatomaceous earth. You might hear the term DE filter.
Okay.
And so from the perspective of having the cleanest water, all of them are going to do a great job as long as you size your pump right and you size your filter right. Then if you have enough, what they call turnover, enough times in the day where the water passes through the filter, you're going to have a nice clean pool. Technically, the diatomaceous earth is going to take out the smallest particles. So from some sort of a microscopic perspective, not anything you would necessarily see, the DE would give you more polished water. Then you've got the sand and you've got the cartridge filter. The cartridge filters, depending on how big of a cartridge you use, they can be a little bit cumbersome to clean. And so depending on how big of a filter you use, will determine how many times a year you have to take that apart and hose it off and clean it and degrease it. And then the DE, a couple of times a year, you're going to have to what they call recharge it, where you get rid of the DE that's on the grids and add new. So that's something you deal with. From the level of effort from the homeowner, which as a homeowner, usually I'm looking to minimize my effort, right?
Right.
So the nice thing about a sand filter is that all you have to do is backwash the sand, and we won't get into what necessarily all that means in terms of circulation, but it's how you clean the debris that's gathered in the sand out. And, you can be drinking a Coke or a cup of coffee and go out there and you turn the valve 2 or 3 times to the correct positions and you're done and you walk back in the house. So, ultimately that's a decision that you make with your pool professional once you decide which pool you want and all the other things that, are part of the pool to select the one that's right for you.
Excellent. So let's get into a little specific about what you do and your company and what you provide the homeowner, or are you just working with the pool installation companies?
Well, it's a little bit of both. Our primary customer is the pool builder. We sell our products to the pool builder. So, Latham Pool Products was founded in 1956. It just so happens that this year we're celebrating our 65th year in business.
Excellent.
And so we do a great job, and the company's grown from what you might call a mom and pop to a large worldwide company. We have manufacturing operations in the U.S. and Canada and Australia and New Zealand. And so we build a lot of pools. We're the largest manufacturer of fabricated pools on planet Earth. And so, that's all well and good to be large, but at the same time, if you're really large but you build junk product, well, that's not necessarily something to be proud of. So, we build great products. And to your point, we're selling to the builder, and then the builder's then taking that product and putting it in the backyard. And then at that point, we have a relationship with the homeowner because we have the warranty on everything we sell. And so, it's important that we build high quality products and then we stand behind those products.
So are you doing, from the pool itself all the way through filtration, and you've got options for all of that? Or is there one specific part of this that you guys specialize in?
Yeah, a couple of different parts that we participate in. We don't participate in anything regarding pumps and filters and handrails and ladders and those kind of things. But on the vinyl liner pool side, we make the walls and the braces and the coping and everything that it would take to construct the vessel to hold water.
Okay.
And on the fiberglass side, we're making the shells, whether it be the fiberglass pool shell or the tan ledges or the spas and all those kind of things. And then we also, years ago, got into the cover business. So we have 3 different covers that we offer. One is a automatic safety cover. It's a really cool device. To me, it kind of has a James Bond flair because you just flip a switch or you hit a button and the cover just goes across your pool. And then hit another button and it comes right back off the pool. Kind of neat. Super great in terms of safety and decreases your chemical usage and that kind of thing.
Right.
And then we sell some other type of safety covers which anchor into the concrete deck. We have solid covers in those, and we also have mesh covers. So those are our primary offerings.
So if you want one of those automatic covers, do you have to have a rectangle or square pool, or is there something out there that will go through? If you have a kidney-shaped pool, that you can still put a cover on it?
Yeah, it's much easier if you have a rectangular pool to put the automatic safety cover on. But if you have a free-form pool, there's a couple of ways to do it. with either pool, you can do an on-deck track. So you have the track actually on top of the concrete, not as cool as having it underneath the concrete maybe, but that would be maybe a retrofit that if somebody had a pool and they wanted to put an automatic safety cover.
Got it.
If you do a free form, there's a process that we use called a pool in a pool. And so basically you pour a rectangular deck around the free form pool.
Okay.
So basically now all of a sudden you have a rectangle, then you put your tracks on top of the first deck and pour the deck around that. So it works really, really well, looks great, and a very viable option.
Excellent.
Makes sense.
Excellent. And waterfalls or any of those kinds of features, hot tubs, those can get incorporated into it at the same time?
Yeah, those can get incorporated. We have hot tubs that can be one of the most popular installations down in Florida, of course, is where you have the pool and the spa elevated next to it, and you have a spillover with the water going in. So you get not only the beauty of the spillover, but you get the sound. One guy told me, he said, the thing I like about that is my homeowner can enjoy the pool, whether they're looking at it or not, because even if you're not looking at it, you still hear that wonderful sound. You can do the same thing with tan ledges. We have bubbler fountains that can go in the pools. We have these waterfalls called cascades that go in the side of the fiberglass pool, and the water arches out. Looks
cool.
fantastic. Lots and lots of different options for accessories on those.
And I'm assuming you're doing all LED lighting now instead of the old Chevy truck light at one end. The old pools. You can always tell the age of the pool at my house now has the Chevy truck light in it. And then I get another ones. The LEDs that we use are amazing because they're such a small item and they're color changing. I mean, you can really get some nice effects.
Yeah, you're spot on. It's funny you said Chevy because we used to talk about the Volkswagen headlight. And so,
okay.
Right. But, yeah, and then the evolution of that was, like you said, you ended up with those incandescent lights to start with, cool but kind of a pain, and then it evolved into the fiber optic lights, and they did one for a while. And then now the LED lights are just spectacular, much smaller fitting. And then there's the next thing that's kind of going on is the LED lights with the induction technology, to where you have a wire that runs down to a power emitter into the wall, and then the bulb literally just screws into the fitting, and when the back of the bulb touches the power emitter, the light comes on. So when you change that out, it's just so much easier. And then, of course, those bulbs last 100,000 hours anyway, so it's just amazing and awesome the way all this stuff has evolved, so that now somebody can literally put in a pool, and if you make the right choices going in, I always used to say when I was selling pools in backyards at kitchen tables is, you have the option to spend a little more money now and a lot less time day to day, or you can get cheap now, and then it's going to require a little more time.
Right.
And so it's that still holds true today.
Well, excellent. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up, Rick. It's Rick Black from Latham Pool Products. And is there a website or a phone number, email that you want to give out?
Yeah, if everybody just goes to lathampool.com, we've got a great website. You can see all of our products there. You can go through, and we've got a pool calculator and some other things that helps you kind of guide through what budget you have and some of that selection process.
And then contractor locator or distributor.
Fill out a form and find a dealer near you.
Excellent. All right, we'll put that link to your company right down below. So if you got any questions, you can post below, and we can forward those on to Rick also. So I want to thank you for your time today, sir. Great talking pools. I know it's cold right now, at least where I'm at. It's 30-something degrees. And I'm sure down where you guys are, you're swimming already. So that's just the way it is.
90 today.
Yeah, see? There you go. So with that, I say thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And hey, Rich, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Keep it square and level.
Keep it square and level.
Until next
week.
time. All right. Next time. Yeah, sure. Something like that. One of these days, we're going to get it right, Rich. You know that.
Well, it used to be easier when it was actually radio.
Yeah, because it was just next week. Because we knew it was coming back next week. And clear. Located on Milwaukee Avenue, the Niles Design District is a home improvement destination for consumers, designers, and contractors. For those looking to renovate a kitchen or a bathroom, expand with a new addition, or enhance their curb appeal, Niles Design District in Niles, Illinois offers everything in one convenient location.
It's your road to a better home.